Can you hear me? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Wholesale Hotties, the place where ladies in real estate are talking about real estate. I'm your host and MC for the evening, Sharon-Lee Smith, together with my lovely hottie co-host. We got Donda Mullinex coming in from Arizona and Monique Hill all
Hi.
the way from the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, and Jennifer Stewart down south in Texas. But today, our special guest is Lisa Ferris, also down in Texas. Lisa, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Lisa, you are from Central Texas, and I know that because you are also the organizer and leader of Dealmaker Centex, right? Central Texas. And
Yes.
so you run that meetup there and have a franchise of Dealmaker from Jim, which is awesome. I love what he does and what you're doing down there. Tell us though, like what got you even there? How did you get started in real estate? When did you get started in real estate? Tell us about your journey.
Well, I had been a realtor for about 10 years, and I had always helped other people purchase investment properties. And I had one lady that had a POS house. I did not want to list it. It was horrible. She let her kids live in it, tear it up. And I told her it needs carpet paints, countertops, everything. And so she said, well, will you help me renovate it? And so being a dumb realtor for 3%, I said, yes, I'll GC the whole project and I'll
Oh no.
renovate your whole house for you. And so anyway, it just got a couple days went by and I just really did not want to list it. And I had recently just finished $1,000 Ron LeGrand course. Some of you may recognize that name, old school.
Yes.
So I talked to the lady and I said, would you sell the house to me? And she was like, sure. And we came to an agreement on a price. And I was like, yay, I'm buying a house, but I have no money. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I just asked her, I renovated it and sold it. She said, sure. And so I just wound up getting busy with real estate and wound up wholesaling it and made $17,000 on it, putting into probably 3 hours, 4 hours into it. And I was like, ooh, I like this. I want to do this again. So anyway, just purchased another house right around the corner and it's just kept going. So that's where it all started.
Got it. Well, that's awesome. So you kind of did a novation, but then ended up wholesaling it and whatnot. That's awesome. 17 grand is nice.
Yes.
Nicer
So
than
then-
the 3% I was going to make. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So then what happened next? Like, did you catch the bug with that or
I did. I kept educating myself, going to meetups, taking training, purchased another house around the corner. And
Nice.
kind of a long story short, I had a lady that she bought and sold with me several times. She was getting ready to sell a house that she had seller financed. And so I knew she was coming into a large chunk of change. And she was closing on that the same day I was getting ready to purchase a house around the corner for $65,000. And I thought, I hadn't figured out how I was going to pay for this house yet, talking about credit card and different things. But anyway, her name's Linnell. She and I are still good friends. I took Linnell to lunch at McDonald's and I asked her, I just said, would you be interested in partnering with me on this house as the lender? And she's very experienced in real estate, having done seller finance and sold land and different things. So she understood the process, and she understood the process better than I did, to be honest with you. But we did the whole note and promissory note and everything, and she was my first lender. And she's probably lent to me at least 10 times now. So I just kept going, purchasing. I did eventually buy a vacation rental in Louisiana, and then we've got midterm, short-term, co-living, and then the vacation rental. So, and all of it's with, I've never spent a cent of my own money on it. It's all private money.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. What are you focusing on in the co-living space? Is it like student housing? Is it sober living? Is it just rent by the room, whoever shows up? Or
yeah, it's rent by the room, and I didn't think it through much because it's very close to a military community, or it's next to Fort Hood, so very large military. So I thought, oh, a bunch of military people will probably rent it out, their buddies. Right. I wound up with a teacher, a gentleman that is here from Africa, and a sergeant in the Army. So it's just been a diverse group of people renting it out. But it's worked out really good. I kind of do that a little bit different than what others have told me that they do. It's a fully furnished house with two living room, 2 dining rooms. Everything is very nice, and they love it. They say they want to stay long term, and that's what I do. I do longer term leases. I want to do 12. I did start out with 6 just so that I could get people in there. But they will be long term. I don't want to have it midterm or anything like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing that sober living and different, niche co-living properties. Yeah. And that's smart.
Yeah. Yeah. Monique's got a sober living, and I was planning on doing like you, where it's a furnished but rent by the room, but more midterm, because I'm right by military base. Same idea, right? And I know years ago, I used to date a guy that was in the Army, and they would send him places for like 6 weeks at a time or 8 weeks at a time. So I know that they do that type of thing.
Right.
And so why not, right? And I'm also right by one of the major hospitals, and so again, I was figuring nurses, same idea. And I'm also right by the college, so, and I'm like, maybe grad students or adjunct professors or something like that. I don't know. Anyway,
it sounds like you'd have a really good chance at keeping it rented up.
Yeah. One would hope. We'll see. So, like, you did all this without any of your own money.
Correct. Yeah, I was broke when I first started doing this, and it just evolved. And then Mark, my husband, he joined me in the business about 3 years ago, and actually, when I was telling him about what I did when we first met, and I told him I buy houses without any money out of my pocket, he's like, "Is that legal?" So it doesn't sound like it, but we lend out of his 401k. So the funds that we do have, we lend. And part of the reason is I don't want to muddy the waters. Like, there's certain ways you can lend to yourself if you do it this way and you participated in that way. I didn't want any of that. It's we lend out those funds, and we borrow 100%. And when I say I borrow 100%, it is the purchase, the renovation, and the closing costs. And usually when I close, I get $50,000 to $70,000 deposited in my checking account on closing day. And that's my rehab money. So that's how I've done it for almost 10 years now.
And they don't keep it back in the escrow account and make you do draws? What?
I'll tell you why, because these aren't lenders. I have private money lenders that are not lenders. They're just people. My neighbor, my good friend Linnell, somebody that I had sold him probably 10 rental properties, became very good friends. He lends to me. So it's not like an institutional lender where you have the rules and nobody's checked my credit ever. I've never had anybody ask me how much my bank account, how many much I have for reserves, nothing, because these are just people that trust me and see what I'm doing. And also the visibility, I think, really helps too, because I'm very intentional about being on Facebook and posting, and people know what I do. I mean, Jennifer, even if you didn't know me, you know what I do, right? It's just I'm all over it, and I have people reach out to me. I see what you're doing. I want to help fund your next deal. And I'm like, all right, well, let me hustle and get my next deal then.
Yeah.
I love your book jacket. That is such a cool jacket that you got there.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I
That
love
you're, now that's not out yet though, right? But it's coming out.
It's coming out, and it'll be out December the 5th. I'm getting ready to send out a pre copy to several people so that when it does launch, they can get in their launch week and give me a review on that. But I'm really excited about it, because I guess one thing that really frustrates me is, like, you get on these bigger Facebook groups, or I probably shouldn't name names, but I'm sure everybody knows them. You know, people get on there and they say, I saved $30,000 and I want to get in real estate. And then you've got the people, oh, well, keep saving, you know, forget it. You can't buy anything with 30,000, and just squashing their dreams. And I get on there and say, hey, I've bought almost 50 houses without 1 cent out of my pocket. It's possible. And they'll reach out to me and ask me how I do it. And it is 100% relational networking at these networking events that we go to, talking to people. I had my brother-in-law reach out to me the other day. He's known that I've done this for 10 years. And he says, what's your spiel? I said, what spiel? What are you talking about? And he said, about money. And I said, oh, sometimes we take on new lenders and allow them to get in on our deal and make, much better than average returns on it. And so talk to him quite a bit about that. And we
love the way you put that. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the way that you said that. Sometimes we take on new lenders. Sometimes we take on new lenders and we let them into our deal, so that it's now not. It's more of a partnership instead of like you're ingrained. You're like
And I make it sound limiting. You know, it's you know, if you're lucky, we might let you in our deals.
Right. Rather than begging for money, you're positioning yourself in the place of opportunity.
Authority.
Well, and that is a good point too, because that's one thing that everybody in our group had talked about. They're like, I feel like I'm begging, I'm begging for money. And I said, no, that's mindset. Change your mindset. You are offering an opportunity for somebody that has lazy money, or money sitting there earning 3-4% interest, to make good returns on their investment, and you're doing them a favor. You're not begging for money. Once you change your mindset about that, then the money comes. Getting the deal is the hard part. The money comes very easily. I've had two deals. I'll tell you. It was last year, and could not find funding for them. And I text Jim Ingersoll. It was early one Sunday morning. I felt defeated. I just could not get funding for these. And here I am, miss, I can get funding for anything. So he tells me, first of all, he says, what are your goals? And I'm like, I don't have goals. And that day, the board's behind me. I put my goals up there. But he said, well, look at your deals and reanalyze them and tell me why you think you're not getting funding for them. I looked at both deals. They were not deals. In no way were they a good deal. And so I wasn't able to get funding. So when I tell people, I say, if you have a good deal, keyword good, funding comes. It's so easy.
What do you consider a good deal, Lisa?
Most lenders, it's my deals are 70% of after repair value minus the repairs, and that's it. And the reason is, first of all, if I buy a house, I know that I can turn around and sell it for what I paid for it easily. or put 5,000 in it, sell it for more, or, you know, just, so lenders are comfortable with that. When you're getting at 80, 85%, and then you've got repairs on top of that, they're not going to fund you.
Mhm.
Right.
They should.
What's your return? I mean, do you have like a set return that you offer them, or is it kind of like depends on the deal? What do you kind of lean towards?
It depends on the deal. A lot of times it's between 8 to 12%. One deal we did super quick. This was early on when I was doing it. Just flipped it super quick and sold it super quick. And I gave Linnell another point because I was like, you know, you didn't make very much on that. And I gave her another point to make it worth her time to even be in the deal with us. So it really depends on the deal. I'm in one right now where I have partnered with the lender. And I'll go back. I don't partner with the lender. The lender is the lender, period. They don't pick colors, tell me what to do, nothing. I drive the train. So they're the lender. But I did partner with a lender on one of our last deals, and we're splitting it 50-50. And the deal was, I was getting ready to be married, just closed on 2 houses, and we had this one that we needed funding for. And I was just, I had no more brain left to even apply for the loan or do anything. So I talked to her, and she said she would definitely do it, but why do I want to do this? Because they would make a lot of money. I said, why do I care how much money you make? We're going to make good money on it. She's like,
right.
Good answer. Good answer. So anyway, I just like to be creative with stuff. And so the return is kind of, it depends on the deal, to answer your question. Long answer.
I love that, what you said, though. I think so many times people have this mindset of they need all the money in the deal to come to them. And the reality is, man, if you get that scarcity mindset out of your mind and realize, okay, but I'm making this, that's good. And then they can make all that. And that's real good for them, too. And then everybody's making good money.
Yes, everybody's winning. Yeah.
You're also doing more deals. So you're actually still making, you know, you're doing more deals because they're going faster and you have more partners and you have the ability to pivot and be a little bit more diversified and have more coming because you have the ability to share ideas and share thoughts and share tasks, even to the point where you're not trying to do it all. Like you're just, oh no, I don't know how I can do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done that too, and it works out really well. I know we had one, we actually brought in the GC as part of our partnership. So it was the money person was 34%. I was 33% for finding the deal and bringing everybody together. And then my GC was 33%. And we all did the deal. And that kept the GC keeping costs down, getting the project done, time. And we got it done. And everybody was happy. Everybody made money. And the private money partners like, find another one. Let's do it again. You know? So once you start doing that with people, I think you'll find that people will like, I want to do a deal with you.
Yeah. I've been talking to my painter about that. I'm like, find us a deal and come on, we'll joint venture with you. And because he's amazing, an amazing person, but so far we haven't worked together with him. But
that's just the right time, the right property will come along. It'll happen.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you just got to get creative. And so sometimes bringing in your GC or something, like you said, your painter, who you might find a deal, and people that are just out there doing other businesses or doing something. And I've talked to some door knockers that are trying to sell me solar and like, hey, if you find a deal.
I did the same thing. I turned it around. I don't want solar, but hey, I know you sell a lot of houses.
Yeah,
I'll pay you.
And while you're knocking, if you find anybody who's like, oh, I got to get rid of my house. They'll tell people. Sometimes they'll open up. I'm like, here's my number. Call me. Let's work a deal.
Here's a stack of business cards. I'll pay $1,000 every time you bring me one. That'll work.
Yeah.
You know.
Right? And I'll help teach you how I did this. So, and if they're out door knocking, those guys are like,
they're the best salespeople. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. That's a hard job.
Yeah.
But the people that do it are very successful at it. I can't, because I just know behind that door is going to be a big old dog that's going to come bark at me, or someone with a gun. That's in my head.
Well, I mean, you're in Texas. So, I mean,
Doesn't all Texans carry guns?
Yes.
Just saying. Big dog, big gun. We're good.
Big hats, big shoes. Everything's bigger in Texas.
That's funny.
Lisa, would you care to share about your journey with bringing your daughter into your business, which I've had the pleasure of seeing from a distance? It was great to see your husband and your daughter last week, even if it was just from across the room, because I was only there half the time. And I would love to hear what made you decide to bring her in, and how long did it take you to convince her to do it, or was she on board immediately?
She's been on board, but she's worked for us for a few years. She's just works part-time. She's admin. She's my right-hand person. She's my painter when we're painting. We learned how to caulk the other day. Just say that very clearly. So she always is funny. She says, well, add that to my resume, so she helps out a lot. But it was during the time when, just before my wedding and just getting ready to close on the third property, she found one that the numbers looked really good. And I was like, no, I'm done. We're getting married in 2 weeks. I'm not getting this one either. She's like, I want it. And our deal is, that's her job, is to find deals and bring them to me. And, we give her a little finder's fee, a little bonus for that, along with her salary. And then if it's in areas that we don't want, then go for it, but she really has not gone for it in those areas. So she finds one that we could have done. And I just said, no, I don't want to do it. She says, I want to do it. And I said, well, I'm not going to JV with you, because I'll be all up in your Kool-Aid. So, and I'm not going to find the money for you. You have to figure that out. So we started brainstorming, and I worked with her throughout this, but just asking questions, and I helped her take a wall down and this and that. But anyway, brainstorming who she could ask. And I said, text Jim, see what he'll do. And so she texted him. He said, tell me about it. And so they picked up the phone, had a phone conversation. She sent him the details. She did a report in Rehab Valuator, which I always do for my lenders. And he's like, let's do it. And so he is her funding partner. And I can't believe it. She can't believe it. I mean, 28 years old, awesome. 0 experience. The man is just incredible. He's just incredible. That's all I can say.
Yes.
So she's blessed. She's so happy, and it turned out so cute. She's struggling with trying to get it sold right now. She's in the, let's put it on the market, three offers today. Seeing that, and I'm like, we're not in there right now. This may not be like a real big win, but it's going to be a win. So anyway, very excited. She's ready for the next one. I said, you need to get this one sold before you start looking for the next one. But
learning the process is extremely valuable, because we don't know what we don't know. And the fact that you were able to kind of be there, you allowed her to be autonomous, but with support, which is the best way we all learn. And it's how we build our self-esteem. And as we all know here, how profitable we are is directly correlated to our self-esteem that we get from putting in the reps and learning the process. So I just, one mom to another, I just really want to compliment you on how you handled that and how you brought her in, and how it sounds like you've kind of set her free from the matrix for life. And so that being said, with the approval of all my other ladies here, I would love to hear about, how did you grow up? Where did you grow up originally, and what was it like for you in terms of, did anyone role model these types of entrepreneurial traits for you?
No, they didn't. I had a really good upbringing. My dad was my dad. He was a truck driver. I would ride truck with him all summer long, and I swear at 10 years old I knew how to shift the the dual gear shifts and everything, by watching him. Learned to back. I can back an 18-wheeler. I can back any trailer, whatever, on a dime. My mom started driving truck with him as well, so they were both truck drivers. College was not mentioned in my house, and today I'm very thankful it wasn't mentioned in my house. But at one point I graduated working at Taco Time, and just partying. And my mom was like, "You need to go get a job." So I joined the Army. She's like, "I didn't mean that." But no, they were the example that they set was they were hardworking, both of them. My mom, stayed home, took care of the house. The house was immaculate. The yard was immaculate. We camped most weekends, rode motorcycles in the summer, snowmobiles in the winter. They gave me, you worked, you didn't just sit around doing nothing. You took care of yourself, and we always laughed. We had a good time. But they didn't teach. I hung out with my dad a lot. So I think that a lot of what, working in the garage, changing tires, tarping loads, all of that kind of stuff. I'm a tomboy. I'm a tomboy that can put on a foo-foo dress and dress up and look good. But yeah, I know how to do all of that stuff. And I got that from them. And as far as Courtney goes, she's really, she's followed, and over the last couple of years, as she's told me that she was interested in it, she wanted to get her own property. She and I do what is running day. We run from property to property, take care of what needs to be, list, buy, whatever. But we also go to look at the properties together. And Mark will go when he can. He works full time. But so Courtney and I'll go and I walk her through it. Okay, so you look and see that crack above the window. That's probably going to be foundation issues. You always look at this. And so she's learning all of that process. So it's good because she walked the property by herself and did a really good assessment of it. So I was really proud of her.
Awesome.
Yeah, she had a live coach, which is so nice. And I know somebody else was talking. I was on one yesterday, and they were talking about mentorships versus coaching. And it's like, I guess it just depends on the person, right? If they have no experience, and to have somebody like yourself or somebody that wants to help take somebody and hold their hand through the process so that they're able to take those steps and feel a little more secure about what they're doing.
I think it's important. Yeah, it is really important because you don't know. And there's even things now, 10 years later, I'm like, something came up and add that to my checklist. I need to check that or I need to do that. I think I learn something new every single day in this business. I don't think you can ever just know it all. And if you do know it all, you're a know-it-all. You are beyond learning and you should always learn something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you get too comfortable because you think you know it all and you've been through everything that you miss something major and then you get yourself into trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So people need to invest in themselves, wouldn't you say?
They do. I think I am in a constant state of learning. I learn, I take education, I go to seminars. I think that is really, really important to always be learning. The other day I was, we're sitting on the couch and I'm reading some book on construction or whatever, trying to get my contractor scope of work dialed in because we were having a little bit of issues with some contractors or whatever. And I thought to myself, I said, I cannot remember when I read a fiction book, fiction in ages, just something like that. But I'm always doing something to better myself and to learn. Although a good smut book every once in a while would be good too.
Sometimes your brain just wants to shut down. You're just like, I gotta get out. I'm going over here.
Yeah.
And now back to what you're talking about, your parents trucking. Trucking, from what I understand, is a 6-figure a year job now for most folks. And if you've got husband and wife trucking together, we're talking about $200K a year, which can be a great place to, kind of build up cash for investing, right? I know you're doing it without your own cash.
Yeah, no, back then it was not as lucrative, and they own their own company. So driving together, it's still the same job, the same income.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she did drive the truck, but they were also just they call it sleeper team. They drive together, but no 200,000 back when I was a kid, trust me. There was no big bucks back then.
Well, that's what I was pointing out was the contrast is now it's like this. First off, it's a really hard job. Okay. Anyone who's going on long road trips like we do, it's really just us and the truckers out there whenever we go in off season. So I have so much respect. We live truck stop to truck stop whenever we travel on our long multi-month road trips. And you really do live truck stop to truck stop, and they're just working. You know what I mean? They're just working, and you hear the number called for the shower, and my kids are first time like, what does that mean? Calling the number for the shower. I'm like, yeah, these people, they shower here, they get their number called. And so there's this whole lifestyle to it that I encountered.
Those are the best showers ever.
I've never used one, but
so hot and so much water pressure. It's unbelievable.
But I just have so much more respect after living kind of on the road myself for what they do. When you're sitting at home in your city life, what they do is very abstract. But when you're out on the road yourself, you live like your food, where you sleep. I mean, you're just kind of to some extent at the mercy of the road, even with really good planning. And it's not an easy way to live.
No, it's not. I enjoyed it growing up, though. We would go to Montana and Canada and Oregon and the coast. And my favorite was always Montana because it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I just have really good memories traveling with my dad. He was always a nut, just a fun guy. And so I enjoyed it. Yeah, he's very hardworking, but, home on the weekends. And so it was always a good family unit.
Oh, that's awesome. Great. I love road life, as everyone here in the show knows. That's my happy place.
Yeah.
But I need to come home too, so I can have some self-care. It's hard to have self-care on the road, but it is my favorite way to live. So I just wanted to share that.
Lisa, did you have siblings, or were you the only child?
I have one older sister. She's 3 years older than I am, and she still lives back in Washington. Well, she lives in Washington State still.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's where I'm from too. And I know that's where Monique's at. So did she travel like with your father as well, or was that more of your thing?
No, she was the sissy girl. Her and my mom played cards and painted nails and stuff. And I was the motorcycle rider and the, playing softball out in the street kind of girl.
Yeah, that was me too. Maybe that's construction girls more. Are we? You guys, were you all like that too? I was a ton.
Big time.
I worked with my dad.
I'm aggressive in acquisitions, but I'm a girly girl whenever it comes to everything else other than business. So
no, I rebuilt my first car. It was a 78 Chevy Nova. I rebuilt the engine myself with my dad.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Like I was always in the garage with my dad. Yeah. I'm same, Lisa, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm closer to Seattle, Lisa.
Oh, are you? Where are you at?
So I have a business, water restoration business in Auburn.
Oh, okay.
Like about 20 miles south of Seattle.
Yeah, okay. I actually lived in Lacey for a little bit. Actually, I think that's between Tacoma and Seattle, I believe. No, it's south of Tacoma. Anyway, but yeah, we were over there for a little bit too.
Down by Olympia.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And Lisa, do you look for local lenders, or do you look for lenders from coast to coast?
Coast to coast. I don't discriminate. Whoever wants to give me money.
Right, money's money. Who discriminates with that?
Yeah.
Well, I do know some people who only go with local lenders for whatever reason. So
Yeah, a lot of my lenders are repeat lenders. So as I sell stuff, we'll find another deal and they'll be in on that. But I've got a couple of them in longer term loans. So I had one that he was in a short term loan. We were going to flip it. And then I got a buyer that came in who wanted to buy it with seller finance. And I said, well, let me talk to my lender. So I talked to the lender and I asked him if he would lower his interest rate to a reasonable interest rate. And then I sold that property on a wrap. So now he's in longer term. And then another lender also has, we've got a couple of 30-year notes with him. So, but I like to keep their money moving, but other than that, it's like we do have long distance people that lend to us as well.
Nice.
Yeah, those are always nice, especially like our plan is like when we do start selling rentals up, we're going to sell our finance. So we have that as a retirement plan. It's going to be our monthly income that comes in. And so.
Exactly. Well, the gentleman that I told you, he purchased all the rentals and then he was just tired. He was wanting to sell them. That's why I talked to him. He's like, tell me about it. How does that work? And I talked to him a couple weeks ago. I said, how's it going? Because I think we've sold 3 of them with seller finance. And he sold a couple to me with seller finance. He said, it's going great. The money keeps coming in and he didn't have to pay. He's got tons of money. He didn't have to pay the taxes on it. And he's loving that.
Yeah, so, the capital gains. Yeah.
So he's got one more and we're going to put that on. Well, it's actually on the market, but we're just listing his last one now doing that. But I think it's really smart way to do it. Hold the note.
Yep. Yeah. You make a lot more money when you run those numbers. You look at the end result, what it comes out to. You're like, I know on our sub 2 deal, I was just doing the numbers on that the other day, and it was like that $840 a month. That turns into quite a bit of money over a 20-year, because we're doing a 28-year on ours.
It does. We've got a couple of notes that we're holding, and it's for us cash flowing better than the rentals are. So and Mark, he's evolved as he's gotten into the business. So he was listening to Jim to start out with, buy and hold, buy and hold, buy and hold, buy and hold. So we were doing that, and then he started getting to the point where he's like, I want the notes. So let's sell, get the notes. So we've got one short-term rental that we is good, and we can seller finance that one. And so we're going to sell that one. And then the second one.
Wait, this one?
No, not Paradise Cove. This one's called Sunshine, and it's a midterm rental right on top of a hospital. It does really well. It's been full. So it's a good deal for somebody to get it with seller financing, and it's also a good deal for us to hold the note on it. So I thought I had it sold, but the lady had a family emergency and had to back out. And I was like, that's fine, because it's making us money anyway. So I'm going to try to sell it again. Yeah. But Paradise Cove's not going anywhere. That's my love.
Dude, so do you get to paper and service your note?
I have a couple different companies that service them. I work with Allied for one, and then for the other gentleman that we have notes with, it's Evergreen. I had used DIA at one point, and don't ever use DIA, but Allied and Evergreen are both awesome.
Good to know. I've heard great things about FCI lender services too. I met the owner once at Note Expo, and then Dan Zatofsky uses them a lot too. And so, FCI is based out of California, and I've heard nothing but great things about them. In case you ever need a backup.
I will keep that in mind. I was having a really hard time getting a hold of Evergreen, and I was in my mind, okay, time to find somebody else. But they did finally call me and help me out. But I'll keep that in mind if I need.
I'll send you a link via Facebook to them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Awesome. So then when did you decide to write this book, and why? Like, whatever would possess you to pivot into authorship?
Well, I'll tell you can we go back to Dealmaker first? Yeah, and that'll kind of go into this. So a year and a half ago, Jim opened up doing Dealmaker. And what it was, I've always been bugging him. I'm like, when are you going to come to Texas? When are you going to come to Texas?
Yeah.
And he didn't really have a plan to do that. And then somebody spoke to him and said, would you allow us to take the brand and form a meetup in our city? So we were the third one to do that. And so we brought it to Texas. And I'm going to say the reason why we brought it to Texas was because the meetups that we had were either a happy hour, no content, drunk fest, or very unethical people that were screwing the people that they were bringing in. So I wanted to bring the ethics of Dealmaker and the go-giver attitude there. Before that, I honestly, I'm an introvert. When I go to meetups, I would sneak out the back door because it was like, okay, they're done. Hurry up, eyes down, sneak out and be done with it. And so since doing the Dealmaker, it has boosted my confidence and speaking with people. And a lot of times, they have questions. And so like I'll do a presentation on it. And I've done it on midterm rentals. And I did the presentation on buying with no money. And like I said, it's just an hour you cannot get the information out there. That's a tease, you give a little bit of information and not enough. So I decided to go ahead and just start writing. And as I'm writing, in my head, more of maybe a newsletter is what I had in mind. You just start writing and thoughts and ideas. It just evolved into a book. And so I was excited. And a lot of people, even experienced people, don't realize the value of relationships. And that's 100% of how I get all of my money is, and I pay people back. That's another big one. But that's why I wrote the book. It just has, I'm an educator at heart. And I've always done that. Even in the real estate offices, I would do training for the other agents. And I've just always been that way. And I like to give. And that's kind of the fun thing about this Dealmaker is they say, you guys put out so much information while everybody's like holding everything close to heart. Oh, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you that. You tell us everything and we're your competition. I'm like, that's just the way. I don't believe in that. I believe what you put out comes back tenfold.
Yes.
I believe if I help you, it's going to come back to me,
Yeah.
And so that's why I wrote the book, and I'm going to continue doing educational pieces as well. I just think it's something that people are not talking about out there.
I love it.
I can't wait to buy your book and give it to some of my clients and put it in some stockings. So I hope they're not too big.
Is it going to be on Amazon? Are we going to be able to order it? I'd like to order it. Will it be on Amazon? Are you going to have it there?
It'll be on Amazon. I'll get Jennifer the link so that she can pass it out to you ladies.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, that'd be really, really great. Because everybody, I don't know one person, like if you were standing in front of an audience of 300 people, even 1,000 people, and you said, raise your hand if you don't need this book. Nobody would raise their hand.
Right.
They should know. Yeah.
Good point.
Exactly.
What everybody tells me is the minute you said not a cent out of your pocket or no cash or credit, like I've never been asked credit score. People just cannot believe that. Nobody knows what my credit score is, and that's because it's all because of relationship. And to top that off, though, it is about being intentional when you are on Facebook or out in public or Instagram. Let people know what you do. As a realtor, they used to call it an undercover agent. Don't be an undercover agent. Be intentional, be out there, and not salesy. I've never done the salesy thing. Hi, if you're interested in buying and selling real estate, my name is Lisa Jay, blah, blah, blah. I've never done that. It's always been a roundabout way of saying, this is what I do. And that's what I do with buying and selling houses also. You know, I let people know that we take on lenders. I let people know we're looking to buy houses. I let people know that, you know, bring me a house and we can work together. But that's just how I do it.
I
So,
love it.
Lisa, what would be a tip for somebody that's just wanting to get started in real estate, and how would you suggest they meet maybe their first private money lender, like yourself? I mean, because typically when you go to your family members, they're not really, like you said, your brother-in-law took 10 years for him to reach out to you. So
yeah, and I've never talked to any of our relatives, Mark's or ours, unless they bring it up to us. They just don't. That's not what I want to do. Honestly, if they just want to get into real estate and don't have any experience, I think they need to find a mentor first. They need to learn what they need to do before they go out there taking money from people.
Amen.
Or partner with the lender and do it together. That way they're both a part of the decision making, but they need to get some experience first. And Courtney, yes, she was lucky because Jim does know that she can rely on me and lean on me, although she didn't have to for hardly anything. But use somebody else's credibility. I have a credibility packet. They need a credibility packet, you know. So that's what I would say is find a mentor, find somebody to do 1 or 2 flips with, then go out on your own, but just be very vocal about what you are doing while you're doing that.
Yeah.
And what would you say for somebody who doesn't know what a credibility packet is? What would you say would encompass a credibility packet, number one? And then number two, how would an individual, in your opinion, if they're like, oh, I want to get a mentor, but I don't know where to turn, what would be some good suggestions for you to like suggest, like, hey, look here and do this, and what are some steps that you suggest?
So a credibility packet can be an actual huge packet you can make on Canva, which is overkill for me. I'm a numbers girl. Although I like artsy stuff, I want to see the numbers, you know, lined down. I have an Excel spreadsheet. I list all my properties, how much I purchased them for. That's a credibility packet. Shows my credibility and that I pay people back. If you don't have that, it's like a resume. If you don't have that, you lean on your education. If you do have it, you lean on your experience. And private money lenders don't even know to ask for a credibility packet. I just provide it because they're not lenders. They're
Right.
You know, they're going with me because they trust me. As far as finding a mentor, I would say, first of all, don't go for the high dollar going in to pay them. Expect to pay for mentorship because it can come in different forms. They may JV with you and hold your hand through the process. That's a huge learning experience for you and a huge time cut for them. So that's definitely worth it. Follow Facebook groups and look and see who's trusting. See who's salesy, who's selling. You know, we sell coaching. Avoid them. Go with the ones with the experience that are actually out there slinging the hammer, actually doing it, actually have struggles and talk about their struggles and how they got through that. Not everybody's winning 100%. And if they're saying they are, they're not truthful. And being truthful is very important in this business. We all struggle. But it's how you get back up and how you continue with it that really is the thing that matters the most. So find somebody that you admire. I've always just, for me, I pretty much, and in my book, I say, like going to these meetups, I identify 3 people that I'm going to introduce myself to. And Jennifer, the first deal maker that I went to, I identified Jeff Watson, Jim Ingersoll, and there was one other person that I was like, okay, I'm going to go introduce myself and shake their hands. And I'm so thankful that I did, because I talk to them constantly now. And it's just something you've got to decide who is doing what you want to do and they're ethical and you would like to work with them. Yeah. That's how you find your mentor, not by the big coaching table in the back and they're going to charge you $10,000 to get coaching, which it never winds up being that way.
I find that working, like you said, working for someone. So right now I'm doing acquisitions for a land wholesaler in exchange for learning how to do it. Right. So they're teaching yesterday, they're teaching me how to comp. They're teaching me how to find the builders. In exchange, I call and I get the properties under contract when the leads come in. So that's not fun. It's not fun for me to go back to doing that again. It's not fun for me to follow up like I was 10 years ago. But my point is that everyone has some skill set, wouldn't you say, most likely, that they can trade instead of paying $10,000 or $20,000 for some, coaching where they put you in some group and then maybe you get, I'll sell you 2 hours a month of my time for $20,000. Do you think you're going to get enough information with all the stuff you don't know? Like, we don't know what we don't know.
In 2 hours.
In 2 hours of sitting with this coach. What a freaking joke. And where Pace Morby's kind of genius is he puts everyone in a group and he lets the group kind of do the heavy lifting from what I can see. Right. And so that's kind of a coaching hack. But to your point, Lisa, I think that working, like doing the actual work, not coaching, is what truly moves the needle on your knowledge and your ability to help others and do deals, to your point.
Exactly. And you have to be able to do that. I've got several people that come up to me and say, I want to JV with you. And I said, okay, well, bring me a deal. They're like, well, I don't know how to get a deal. I was hoping you'd get a deal. I'm like, if I'm bringing the deal and I'm bringing the money and I'm rehabbing.
Like an office space.
Yeah, you don't
what
need
would
me.
You say you do here? Remember that scene in Office Space?
You made a very good point too. You're in a room full of people who invest, and you limited it. I'm going to take 3 people, and you even admitted you like squirrel out the back door, but you picked 3 people, and those are the people you're going to introduce yourself to, and you had conversations with them, built relationships, and then from that grew. On top of the fact that you mentioned JV, which maybe people don't know, that's a joint venture agreement, meaning bring something to me, then JV with me, bring me into the deal so that I can teach you what to do, basically. So you're brought into a deal. You're basically getting paid like a coach, but you're getting paid into the deal type of thing.
Right, so and then they would work and learn the step-by-step process of everything. That would be a really good way to get experience in it, and even learning how to get the funds. I mean, once you've got the deal, you bring the deal to me, and I would walk you through and hold your hand and teach you how to talk to people and how to get money. One of the things I think I mentioned earlier, that's the big holdup for people, is they just feel like they're begging. And it's like, nope, you've just got to have that confidence and say, I've got an opportunity if you want to earn whatever 10%, 12% interest on your money that's not working. Let me know if you want more information about it. And I always just shut up. I don't ramble on and keep telling them, because some people are like, oh, look at that. And they're off on whatever. And you're like, okay, they're not interested. Or they'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting, and start asking questions. And then it's like, okay, this person is interested. And I honestly have a notebook that I will write names down, because you'll forget about it. They won't talk to you for 6 months about it, or I won't talk to them for 6 months about it. And then I'll be like, oh, yeah, this guy was asking me about it. Let me reach out again and say, I've got a deal for this much. Are you interested in getting in on our deals? But there's a lot of different ways that it's just super simple, but it is speaking up. And a lot of people are afraid to speak up and ask.
Yeah. I love the notebook idea, because you can revisit that.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Were you in the Army, Lisa, you said?
Yes, I was in the Army.
How long were you in the Army for?
I was in for 4 years. I got out to have babies.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, I'm sure I can speak on everyone's behalf whenever I say we thank you for your service. And what all did you do while you were in the Army? And do you think it lends discipline to what you're doing today? And if so, how?
No, I had the discipline before. I honestly did not. So it was peacetime. I was supposed to be a generator mechanic, but I was a cute female, so I wound up driving the commander around. I wound up working in the office, re-enlistment NCO, that kind of stuff. So no, it was just another. I got a room paid for, and I got a roof over my head, and I made some money, and got away from my mom.
in an honorable way.
Yes.
Good for you.
So, Lisa, what was the worst deal that you ever went through? I know Sharon usually asks this. What was your best and what was your worst?
Well, when I've partnered with people, they've always been really rough, and I've done that twice. Those were pretty rough. One of the worst ones, I had read, I had just broken up with a boyfriend, and we split ways, and I packed up my car and put everything in storage, and I was going to do, there's a book out there called The 4-Hour Work Week.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Throw it away. Don't read it. Anyway, I read that. I decided I was going to do the 4-Hour Work Week while I had 2 rehabs going in Texas, and I had purchased Paradise Cove out in Louisiana, and I was going to renovate that. Well, I trusted the contractor until he was untrustworthy, and I lost $40,000 on it. So I was just going back and forth, kind of going to Florida, to Louisiana, to Texas, to Washington State to see my dad, and I wound up losing money on it. But I haven't.
Why is it always the contractor? What the fuck?
Yeah, he did a really good job on one of mine, and what it was is I wasn't there, I wasn't present, and it was all me, But he did a good job when I showed up every day, and when I took off to do my little tour, he didn't do so well.
Took advantage of the situation.
Just a great question though, Sharon. Why is it always the contractors? And should we just make them all partners like Donda said, and that way they have accountability and serious skin in the game, and they're not just profiting
incentive
off of us, off of our backs, like let's see them have some skin in the game. So
when I find a really good contractor, I'll consider it. I will with my painter, definitely. He's been with me for 10 years. So he's just one of those that I'll use on everything. But yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea, but you have to trust that they're doing, what they are supposed to. I don't partner. I'm not going to partner again. I married my partner. That's the only partner I'm going to have. So
yeah.
Well, and when I say partner, I mean JV, not like sharing an LLC,
right,
or anything like that. I should be more intentional with my language. To your point, JV.
Well, and that's what we are, JV partners, on different deals. So
the last one that I JV'd, I heard too many times, "Oh, I've got someone that can do it cheaper," and I have nightmares about that. Cheaper meant 3 months instead of a week and a half. So that was his idea of cheaper. Yeah. And that didn't turn out well.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because time's of the essence. That's where it is. And people, if you're getting started in real estate, you want to day one, when you get that property locked up, you want to be doing your demo. You don't want to now I got to go find a demo team. And no, you need to start boots and running day one.
Yeah.
So, definitely important. But oh my gosh, Sharon, did you see what time it was?
I did. I was waiting patiently.
I thought you were going to cut us off. I'm like, oh, geez.
No. I was going to give Lisa all the time in the world. Lisa, I'm looking forward to buying this book on Amazon. And as soon as I have a link, I will update the description of this video. So forever and ever, as this video is up, people will be able to go to the description and find the way to your book and buy it.
Thank you.
Hopefully that will help. But I'm looking forward to reading this. Right. I've bought sub 2 before, and that in my mind is the best, easiest way to buy without your own money. Right. But finding private money lenders is a whole nother skill set that I do not have. And like you, I am a perpetual learner. And so I'm looking forward to learning from your
good
experience.
I think it'll be eye-opening for a lot of people that it's not, that big of a deal. It's just relationships.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you
love
so
it.
much for coming on our show. I love talking to all amazing, powerful women in real estate, which you are. So thanks again. Have a good night, ladies.
Thanks for having me.
See you next
Thank
week.
you, Lisa. Thanks for coming.
Bye, Jennifer.
Thank you.
All right. Yay!
Hey, that was
That
good.
was a good show.
Every time I watch, I'm like, that's so good. I need to go back and start watching some of our old ones because they're just